Hello and welcome to the Jeunesse family. My name's Scott Lewis. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer of Jeunesse. I want to congratulate you on taking the first step towards living your dreams with a company based on the right principles, the right values. Getting started right is your most important step on your Jeunesse journey. Your success is our future. So please take advantage of the new Getting Started program in J-Mobile designed to help you succeed in your first 30 days. Our story is just beginning. We are Jeunesse and we are Generation Young.
Welcome to Jeunesse and welcome home.
Of that video. How many have seen that video? Not enough. Because those of you, if you haven't seen it, you need to go into your J-Mobile and you need to watch it because she gives you an entire tour of our beautiful headquarters located in Lake Mary, Florida. So that is part of Getting Started. And Getting Started that you're going to hear about today, it's not just for you because I'm sure some of you have already started. How many of you have already started? Beyond your first 30 days. How many of you are beyond your first 30 days? Let's give it up for those, everyone who's beyond 30 days. What you're going to learn is how to help the people in your team onboard people for the first 30 days. Actually, you're going to learn about the first 48 hours. It's all important. But that particular video and all of the Getting Started tools that are in your J-Mobile app and in your back office are translated into about 26 different languages. It was a huge project, from videos to PDF booklets on how to start your business to videos on how to read your back office reports. And the reason we did this is because we are global. Right now, this session is being translated into 13 different languages. And people all around the world. So let's give it up. Let's let them hear the noise and the love to everybody watching. Woo! So get your teams together. For those of you that are virtual, you can still text and let people know this is about to happen. Our trainers are here. They're inspired. We just had an amazing Sapphire session with tremendous speakers. It was closed by Kim Wee, who was our presidential diamond. So they are fired up. But right now, you are about to learn the most important step for your business, and that is the first step, getting started. So with that, please help me welcome our first Diamond Director speaker. She is an industry legend. She has written books. She has more stories than you can possibly imagine. And she is one of the best trainers that we have. So please welcome Paula Pritchard to the stage. Woo!
Hi. Good morning. Thank you for, it's almost afternoon now. Congratulations for being here. I learned a long time ago that you needed to attend every meeting, every event, every call, and if you only learned one little thing during that session, it was worth all the effort. And so I learned something new, and I've been in this business for 40 years, so I learned something new, and it was work as hard as you can, do all you can, and then go out and talk about it. And that was the part I missed, the go out and talk about it. But that was before social media. So I think that's good advice. But anyway, first of all, I want to congratulate the company for such a great job they've done in the Getting Started tools that we have in the back office. So this training today is for those of you who want to learn how to get your people started, not necessarily starting you. But in the process, if you learn something that maybe you skipped, this will help you maybe correct that in getting you started right. But what they've done in the back office is amazing. If you go to your back office and you go to Tools on the far right, when you click on that, the drop-down will be getting started. And if you click on that, what you will see is videos. Lucy did videos on objections, on closing. There's a guide. There's a two-part guide that I think is very thorough. So if you would just print that off and just follow it, I think it's going to be an enormous help to you in building a business. But anyway, I have found over the years that when people get involved in network marketing, it's usually for one of three reasons. I've seen people come in because they basically just want to get the product at wholesale. In other words, and that's easy because when somebody wants to buy product from me, I'll say, hey, why don't you get registered and then you can get it at the same cost I get it. And I do that all the time. And some of those people turn into distributors and turn into actual builders. But then there's other people who get involved because they want to make a little bit of part-time income. When I was first introduced to network marketing, I was teaching at a major university in Ohio. I was in the process of finishing a PhD. I was not looking for a career change, but I needed to add some extra money to what I was making. I started out part-time, but within 2 years, I was making more per month than I was making all year in my teaching position. So needless to say, it became a career for me. But there are people who start out, a third way, which is they know that they want to create a new career. They want to create a full-time income. And it's important that you know which one you're talking to. Because if somebody wants to make a little extra money, a little part-time income, you're going to treat them one way. You're going to get them started a different way than you might somebody who wants to make a full-time income. So you have to know from the very start what is their why. And this is, I think, where a lot of people drop the ball, is they don't really find out what that person's why is. Why do they want this business? Why do they want to build this? What do they want out of it? And it's maybe they want to get out of a job they hate. Maybe they want to get out of debt. Maybe they want a new house. Maybe they want to change the trajectory of their family. Maybe they want to put their kids through college. You need to know that because it's going to become very useful in keeping them in the game. Because when they run up against some no's, some objections, and you remind them of the why, and they start to focus on the why, it kept me in the game. My why was a Mercedes convertible. All right? I had it on the refrigerator. But see, it had to be internalized, because once you put it on the refrigerator, you can take it off just as quick as you put it on. But I had to think to myself, what's it going to feel like when that wind's going through my hair? What is it going to feel like when I smell that leather? What's it going to feel like when I have my hands on that steering wheel? And what's it going to feel like when I pull up in the driveway of that person who told me it wouldn't work? All right? And so I kept using that to drive me. You need to know what their why is, and then you need to embrace it as if it was yours. In other words, send them pictures, remind them. And when they have a bad time, remind them again. And and one of the things I want to point out, because it gets overlooked a lot, is don't overlook personal development. In other words, reading books, listening to recordings. I used to devour books that made me believe in myself, and some of them are really old now, like, well, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, my gosh, everyone should have that. But I would Magic of Thinking Big, or The Magic of Believing, things that would inspire me. I was reading a magazine that was from back in the 1990s. It was a series by Nightingale Conant. Maybe many of you don't remember that. But this particular article was talking about the key to success is self-image. I'm sorry, self-esteem. Self-esteem. The key to your success. And I thought to myself, if somebody asked me the key to success, I might have said discipline, persistence, determination. It said self-esteem, and I thought, and I started reading it. It was a very long article. And after I read it, I thought to myself, this person is spot on. Because if you grew up in an environment where you were made to feel not worthy, unloved, unappreciated, and you carry that baggage with you into life, and then you get into relationships where somebody really loves you, but you feel you're unloved, so subconsciously you'll do things to sabotage that relationship. Same thing will happen in business. If you think you're unworthy of being successful, then you will do things to sabotage your journey. So if that is an issue that you see in yourself or you see in others, then you need to get them to a place where they can start to devour personal development, reading, listening, and start to turn that around. But you know, once you determine your why, it's easy to set your goals, because every why has, or at least most every why I've seen, has a dollar figure. They want to replace their career. How much are they making a month? So they need to replace that income with Jeunesse. They want a new house. They don't have to have all the money to buy the house. Just how much is it going to cost per month, the down payment, and how much is the monthly payment? They want that new car. How much is the monthly payment? They don't have to come up with the thousands to buy the car. Just the net amount of money coming in every month to help them get whatever that why is. And so if you look at our business and the compensation plan, and you look at the cycles that pay $35, well, how many cycles do they have to create a business to do? And you'll know if they need $3,500 a month, then they need to be an elite, right? If they need $7,000 a month, they need to be a Ruby, right? And so once you determine money-wise what the goal is, then all you do is start to break that down. So I should have put this up here. These are slides that are in the back office. They're on the page, the paper that you're looking at right now. But the people that I love to work with are the ones that want a career change. So if I'm going to be successful and I want to become a diamond because that's the kind of income I desire, then I have to be willing to let other people in on it. You have to be willing to let other people in on this business. And so when you start them out, and I have to tell you, I bought the biggest package I could get. Why? Because I wanted to be authentic. In other words, when somebody says, what does Reserve taste like? What does mine taste like? Or how do you feel on the AM/PM? I wanted to say, this is how I feel. So I understood that if I was going to take this business seriously, just like if I bought a McDonald's restaurant, I'm going to try the filet, the quarter pounder, the Big Mac, because if somebody asks me, I'm all in, okay? And so I hope you're all in. But understand this, whatever position you started at, whatever package, that's what they're going to do. Because they're going to say, well, where'd you start? And I wanted to say, I started with the Ambassador Pack. Oh, okay, then I'll start there. So if they're all in, I know there's some financial issues, and I think Kathy will cover the package part of it, or sign-up part of it. But the thing I want to point out is always remember the key to success in this business is duplication. And so everything you do is duplicated. The way you start, you know, the way you make your calls, the way you start your people, it's all duplicatable. So be willing to bring other people, be willing to let other people in on this. Now, I remember when I first started, they said, Paula, if they fog a mirror, when you hold it up to their mouth, they're a candidate. You know, and I can also remember hearing, well, if they have a heartbeat, they're a candidate. But I have to tell you, after being through a lot of frustration with people who really weren't candidates, I decided that I'm going to qualify people. And I looked for 4 things. The 4 things I looked for, I wanted them to be ambitious, a self-starter, positive, because I don't want to hang around negative people, and coachable. So those are the 4 qualities I look for. I'm selective. Why? Because I have the right to choose who I want to join my business. I have the right to choose who I work with, because it's going to cost me more time and money in the beginning than it's going to cost them. Okay? So these are the people I'm looking for. And so the majority, I want you to understand that 50% of the population are not hardwired to be entrepreneurs. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of those get in your business and they fool you. So, you know, focus on the ones that have some kind of a track record, focus on people that seem to want more. And understand that a new distributor will sponsor more people in the first 3 months than they will the next 3 years. Let me repeat that. They will sponsor more people in the first 3 months than they will the next 3 years. So that means get them out of the blocks quick. I try to set up a couple meetings for them, or a couple presentations the first 2 within the first 10 days. I want them out of the blocks and running. And then I'm going to start, helping their people and helping their people. I just go as deep as I can into that business. At the same time, I'm building with, but I'm helping in building depth until I can hand off the baton because they know what they're doing. I have a standard. I always try to back a leader with a leader with a leader. So if you're my leader, I'm going to try to back you with a leader, and I'm going to try to back them with a leader. And I know I've got some good strength and I've got some stability in your business. Okay. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to make a list. And when you're going to help them make a list when they get started. Now, everybody, and I'm going to tell you what I do, but understand that your sponsor might have different ways that they do it, and that's great too, because we all get to the same end goal. But what I do is I tell a person, empty your brain on a piece of paper, or empty your brain on your cell phone. You can upload all your contacts through JMobile, but what I tell people is empty your brain on a piece of paper. List everyone you know from the time you were a kid to every job you've had, to every organization you've belonged to every school you've attended, to every neighborhood you've lived in. Just empty your brain. And people say to me, but Paula, that'll take me days. And I said, I know, but it'll make you rich. And I'm going to tell you, just empty your brain. Just list, and not everybody on this list is going to qualify for your business. There's going to be some on the list you don't like, some you never want to be in business with. There are going to be some that are too old, too young, too whatever. But just empty your brain. And then what I do on that list is I go through that list and I have one thing in mind, and it's called wants. W-A-N-T-S, wants. In other words, I believe most people are interested in themselves. Okay? So I know that if I focus on what's important to them, what they want, I know that I represent the solution to that want. If I know what their want is, and I have the solution, we're on the home stretch. So what I usually do is I go through the list and I say, okay, who on this list wants more? Who do I know that's ambitious? Who do I know that's a go-getter? Who wants more? Who's like me? And I check them off. Then I go through a second time. Who on this list is dissatisfied? Who hates their job? Who hates who they work for, who they work with? Who hates where they live? They want to move back home to where their family is. And then I go through it a third time and I say, okay, who on here, it's not that they're dissatisfied, they just want more. Maybe they love their job, but they want more vacation. Maybe they love their house, but they have a baby on the way and they need more room. And I check all these things off. So now I have everyone that has a want. And I'm going to teach you my direct approach. I have a direct approach and indirect approach, but I'm going to teach you the direct that I use to contact that you can teach these new people. But anyway, once I've listed, I narrow it down to my first top 10, my second top 10, and my third top 10. And then I start contacting them. And I basically say 4 things. Hi, this is Paula. This is my intro. How you doing? I called you for a reason. You told me you wanted this. Were you serious or were you kidding around? They usually say they were serious. And they say, great, I think I got a way. I never say I have a way. I say, I think I might have a way to help you get it. I can't go into it now. When do you have some uninterrupted time we can talk? I'd like to run an idea past you. Doesn't that seem casual? Do you know if you woke me up at 4 in the morning, I could just say that just verbatim because I know it so well. And I've taught it for decades. I focus on their want. And then, I've never been one. I've had people call me, Paula, I found a way we're going to get rich. And I'm thinking, okay, or sometimes I get ambushed. Paula, I've got a way we make a lot of money, but I got this person on the phone that I want you to talk to. He's somebody that's real successful. And I'm thinking, I just focus on what they want, okay? And then, when you go to contact somebody and you start to invite them, that's kind of, I want you to think about this. It's an ego risk thing, isn't it? Because it's like, oh God, I got to pick up this phone. I'm scared they're going to say no, or they're going to say, have you lost your mind? Are you an idiot? When I decided to leave teaching, I can't tell you how many people thought I was crazy. But the point of it is I had to keep reminding myself and trying to overcome all that negative coming at me. I had to focus on my wants and focus on what I wanted and believe that I was making the right decision. But it is ego risk, because I remember I used to have a talk one time about how this phone weighs 10 tons, and picking up that 10-ton or 10-pound phone. and trying to make that call. But once you do it, it gets lighter. The more you pick it up and do it, it gets lighter. But it is an ego risk. And then you want to show the business. And there's so many ways to show it. But you want to, you can present it, you have upline present it, you've got videos to present it, you got all kinds of ways to show the business. But I want you to remember one thing. You are a storyteller, you are not the story. Okay? You've got to separate yourself. You are the messenger, but you are the messenger, but you are not the message. So when they say yes or no, they're not saying it to you, they're saying it to the story, they're saying it to the message, they're not saying it to the storyteller, or they're not saying it to the messenger. Yeah, separate yourself from that. It's like a waitress. Do you want coffee? No. Okay, are you interested in dessert? No. Okay. You go to the next table, right? You don't see them fall to their knees with disappointment. All right? That has to be you. You be that waitress, or you be that waiter. That's the thing that kills so many people. Understand, no's are part of the journey. You can't avoid them. They're on the same road as the yeses. You have to go through the no's to get to the yeses. And it's, and you have to say, okay, in fact, if you go out looking for no's, you're probably going to have more success. Because I know you're not going to get 100% no's. You just can't do it. I can remember sitting on a plane one time, and you know how the person next to you, and they say, what do you do? And I told him I was a storyteller. Now, it was funny because I saw his eyes go to my hands, so he must have thought I was a fortune teller. And I says, no, I'm a storyteller. And he says, what do you mean? I says, well, I tell my story and I make a lot of money. And he says, well, tell me your story. And I did, and he signed up. It was great, Understand that people hear the music, not the words. They hear your excitement. That's why I hate a new person to take too much time to learn. I want them to get out of the gate and let's get going. We call it ignorance on fire. They start to learn too much and then they get too programmed. It's like knowledge on ice. It's the excitement that gets people going. Then understand you're going to have some objections. Lucy does a great job talking about objections. Most of the objections are just fear of failure. Or maybe they're afraid no one's going to help them. Or they're afraid of what their friends might think. One of the things that I use in objections, I've taught it for years and I continue to use it, is feel, felt, realized. Okay? Feel, felt, realized. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. And then I realized when I met so-and-so, or I met so-and-so here, and what happened with them, that anybody could do this. Now some people have changed it to feel, felt, found. Either way works. The bottom line is this. Stories sell, okay? They sell. Facts tell, stories sell. That's why when you hear testimonials, you memorize them. When you hear people's success stories, you memorize it. Because that is your window dressing. Can you imagine going past a department store and not having anything in the windows? Nothing to draw you in? These window dressings is your stories. That's why you tell them. Somebody says, well, Paula, I think you have to have a sales background to do this. Oh, I felt the same way. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. And then I realized John and Susan over there, they're engineers. They never even came from sales. And look how successful they've become. You see what I mean? How these stories work? Then the follow-up. This is your next ego spot. The follow-up, teaching them how to follow up. And you might have to do some of that in the beginning to get your people going, but following up is so critical. When I do a follow-up, I just basically say, what more information do you need to make a decision? What more information do you need to make a decision? And they say, well, I'd like to know more about this particular product. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Here's this information. Now, what more information do you need to make a decision? If you can learn that sentence, you're home free. What more information do you need to make a decision? And if they say, well, I'm not going to get involved, I always say, is that no for now or no forever? Is that no for now or is it no forever? And they usually say no for now. I say, great, then is it okay if I stay in touch? And then you know what I do when I stay in touch? I drip on them. Send them a little bit of information, call them maybe in a couple months, how's it going? And usually nothing's changed for them and I'm telling them about the trip I just got back from, right? Understand that almost 50% of people never follow up. It's unbelievable. 25% of people only follow up one time. It's the 10%ers that follow up 3 times or more. to get back with somebody. And usually the sale happens between the 5th contact and the 12th contact, if you could only just follow up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass this off to Kathy. I met Kathy when I knew that I was making money, but I didn't know what to do with it, and I was worried that I didn't have a 401k or IRA, or I still don't know what the difference. But the thing of it is Kathy, I went to Kathy, somebody recommended Kathy. She owned an investment firm, and I'm going to tell you, she was really successful with it. She took it from, like, I don't know what was it, number 30th or 40th in the company, up to like one of the within the top 10. And I mean, she's really good at what she does. But we became friends. She got in the business, and I was building in Europe at the time. So I went to Europe, and we decided for a partnership. I built in Europe, she built in North America, and it was a great combination. So I'd like to introduce you to Kathy Robbins.
So let me just say this. I'm talking to you as the person that's getting somebody started, right? And there are really two kinds of people that get involved in network marketing. We used to call one the mud throwers, but we'll just say that they're the recruiters. And then there are the people that are the sponsors, okay? There is a big difference. It would be like, I want to join the United States Army, which obviously would never happen, but because I don't want somebody controlling my life, but let's say I'm going to join the Army. I go to a recruiting center, right? There's a Army recruiter there. He's going to tell me what I need to do, how I do it, and then he's going to say, okay, report here at this time. And I will never see him again, okay? A sponsor is someone who is going to stay with you. If I use Alcoholics Anonymous as an example, right? They have a sponsor, that person stays in touch with them, make sure they're okay. They can call that sponsor when they have a problem. Okay, so Paula and I are sponsors. Okay, we aren't recruiters, we are sponsors. So as we began to build businesses, we would sit down with somebody, because at that time we didn't have Zoom, and I mean, it was a long time ago. But we would sit down with somebody within 24 to 48 hours. And we would share with them, just like that's on your thing, all the tools that are available for them with the company that we were involved with at the time. And we had created some other things that we would share with them. And the reason for that is we would give them things to do. So let me give you an example. We have the videos in the back office for getting started, right? So if I sponsored you, I'd say to you, now there's a half a dozen videos there. When do you think you could watch those, right? And you say to me, well, I could probably watch them in 2 days. Great. I'll give you a call in 2 days, and that way I can answer any questions you might have, right? I call you in 2 days. Oh, well, I haven't gotten around to it. Okay, that's strike one. Second time I ask you, you give me a date, you don't do it, strike two. Third time, you don't do it, then what I'm going to say to you is I'm going to say, listen, when you get ready to get started, you call me. But I'm not going to waste my time on people that are not going to do what I know they need to do to be successful. So one of the advantages that we have is that the company has done a lot of work that we don't have to do anymore. We just have to point you to the tools, and it's all there. And I can still remember years ago, the company Paula and I were with before Jeunesse, we got into that company, and we went to look at the back office. And I'm telling you, it was the most unorganized. I mean, it was unbelievable. Nobody could find anything. They had hundreds of things you were supposed to look at. And it's one of the things I really like about Jeunesse, because they keep it short, sweet, and to the point. Also, when you sponsor someone, here is a really important key. You want to get them to executive as quickly as you can. And the reason for that is, if you and I are good friends, and I got in the business, and I sponsor you, okay, and then I sponsor you, okay, I've got my two good friends in the business with me. How am I going to quit? How am I going to quit? I just recruited friends, right? Or maybe I recruited family. The quicker you get them to executive, and then you teach them how to get their people to executive, you are building a business that will more likely last than if you let that one person wait 90 days before they do something. The key is getting them started right away, and it's staying with them. And you know, Paula and I have an international business. We got people in Africa, we got people in Europe, we got people in Canada, we got people everywhere. Here's what has happened for us. We hold Zoom meetings every week with our top leaders. We spend an hour on Zoom covering anything that they might need or whatever. We have a Zoom call once a month at the beginning for all of our directors and above. And then we have another call for all the rest of the team around the world. And we stay in communication with those people. And it's the same thing for you. When you are getting somebody started, you should be talking to them on a regular basis to see how they're doing, what they need. I mean, there are times in our business when I feel like I am our team's customer service agent, because they'll call customer service, they won't get the answer they want, or they can't get a hold of them, or they can't. And so I'm the person they call, and then you figure it out. But my point is that it is really important that you take the time to get to know your people, because I'm going to tell you what keeps them. It isn't the money. It's the relationships. We have people in our business that we have known for 35 years in network marketing. We've been in a number of companies. They have followed us every time we moved because we're sponsors. We're not recruiters. And you have to do that, and you have to learn how to build those relationships. You know, the closer somebody gets to the goal they had, okay, I want to make $3,500 a month. Well, the closer they get, the more you encourage them, the more you give them praise. We have recognition team things on WhatsApp. So people get recognized, that we all say, yay, you know, you did a great job, because that's what keeps people motivated. And they're giving you 30 days on this to get somebody to executive. Okay, our goal is always a week. Always a week. Now, they may not make it, and you don't give them a hard time about it, but you push them to get those two people. And then you push them to get two more. And then you push them to get two more, and then until you get them to Sapphire. They'll work their way up. And we always encourage that when you're building to Sapphire, that you help them build with executives, not distributors. Because let me tell you, if you get to Pearl and you have 8 executives, what you need to do is you will only need to get 4 more to go to Sapphire, right? But if you go to Pearl with just directors, getting on to Sapphire means you got to take all those directors and turn them into executives. It's a much tougher job than getting them to Jade, Pearl, Sapphire with executives. And it gives them, they feel like they've done something, and that's really, really important. And I might be finished. No, okay. So, and then you repeat the steps. Let's see if I can go back. Yeah. Okay. So, the key is once you help 1 or 2 people, you will learn that that's the easy way to do it. This is how I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to continue to do it. Here's the thing I think that is hard, is figuring out of these people, who's your next possible leader, right? And a lot of times what happens is you will find out when you say to them, okay, now you've got a group of 4 executives. You should be talking to them at least once a week and see how things are going. Okay, the people that do that are the ones you want to work with because they're the ones that have that leadership ability. If the other ones aren't, then you have to go back and help their people. We don't stop at the first level. If you have people downline that are working hard and need help, then you go down and help them because that way you're building a business that's becoming more solid. The deeper the business goes, the wider the business goes, the more you have to be sure that you are going to have a business 6 months from now. One of our emeralds, God, was it 2 years ago, had some candles burning and was wearing this lovely gauzy outfit, leaned over, caught fire. Luckily, she lived in Canada and it had snowed. She was able to get out the back door and rolled in the snow to put out the fire. But she was out for a year. I mean, it was a year. But through all of that, her sponsor, and us took care of her people. That's what we did. We took over her calls, we took over because she needed us. And at the time, she will tell you, and she said it was a miracle. She said, my checks kept coming. I was in a hospital, but my checks kept coming. And so that's the value of building relationships in a business because you don't want people to fade away. And as long as you stay in touch with them, they won't fade away. So going to events is critical. So you want your people to go to those events if they can possibly afford them. Our Canadian team isn't here because our border between Canada and the US for some reason is still closed. So none of the Canadians could get here. And that's really hard because we haven't seen them in probably 2 years. You know, we see them on Zoom, but it's not the same. So, and you want, what is important is when you're helping somebody, you have to know how to show the business. Because if you sponsor me, I'm going to expect you to help me the first few times to show the business. So my advice to you is when you're working with somebody and getting them started, number one, don't just be getting one started. Okay? You want to be working with 2 or 3 at a time and getting them started. And so when you do that, you want to offer them your help whenever they need you. Now, I will say this to you. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb at 9 p.m. and it comes off at 10 a.m. Okay, because I am not a morning person. I like to read in the mornings. I like to relax. But if you leave me a message, 10 o'clock, I'll pick up my phone, call you back, and figure out what the problem is. So that you do need time for yourself. I'm going to tell you that. Paula and I made talked one time about how some people are marathoners and some people are sprinters. Okay, Paula is a marathoner. She can work till she drops. I am a sprinter. And what happens is when I get to the end of that sprint, I'm going to be getting a little grumpy. So I'm not going to pick up the phone at that time because I need just a little bit. I need a break. And then I'll go back and do another sprint and do another sprint. So you work the way you need to work. Not the way somebody else tells you to work, but the way you need to work. So the company, I really suggest you take the time. This is a really great little thing. They're showing them how they can, put together their team. And everything that they have done is like this. Well, this is just what I just talked about. Help your team members, continue to enroll and develop, and repeat and duplicate the steps. And the key is you do have to keep sponsoring. You do. Because I will tell you, in the long run, if you keep 1 out of 3, you'll be doing a fabulous job. Because things happen. People move, they do something else. It just happens. And it isn't your fault. It's just the nature of the business. So I hope we've given you some good ideas. And I guess that's it.
side.